How are you doing? How are you doing today?
Well, I'm in the epicenter of the coronavirus central here in New York City, in the middle of the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and it is as quiet as it could be. People
Yeah.
are really staying indoors and not mixing at all. So it's
In
a very
in
unusual circumstance for Manhattan.
yeah, inside your great mind, how do you feel psychologically? How do you feel?
Oh, I think it's extremely depressing that that the economy has been shut down, and people are avoiding each other. I mean, it's a very odd thing. New York City is the kind of place where people live in smaller apartments and living spaces, because the key thing about living in Manhattan is you don't stay inside. You're always out. You're always going out. You want to be out. There's
Yeah.
everything in the world that you would want to enjoy is here, whether it's food, culture, intellectual stimulation, the theater, movies, museums, the best things in the world are here. Uh, and it's very odd not to do that. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I've got a great little story, Len. My For years, people would ask my wife, and they would say, "Robin, where would you like to go? Where do you and your husband like to go on vacation?" And she would say to them, look at them strangely, and say, "Listen, I live in Manhattan. I'm on vacation every day because that's the way it is. There's so much to do here. You can't do it all. So
Yeah.
to not be able to do anything, it's really
It's a
distressing, to say
it's
the
a
least."
yeah. Yeah, I know psychologically, for even for the people we deal with in our business, it's psychologically, I think, and I had talked to somebody the other day. I feel like that squirrel in the middle of the field during the Civil War in this little town called Gettysburg, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. And what do you do as the squirrel's running back and forth, not knowing what to do? And
Yeah.
I think our anxieties about the overflood of information, even though we need it, the overflood of information and the daily pounding of this and the seriousness of it. Let's not take that away. Is eating at us 24 hours a day, and
Oh, without a doubt.
we have to put our minds at ease. And this is why I'd like to have these chats with you, maybe like once a week, just to see how you're doing. And can you give me an idea? You're the vice president, one of the regional vice presidents for Security Mutual in New York. Can you tell me what the how the company's preparing for this?
Well, the amazing thing about the Security Mutual and most life insurance companies is that they have to have contingency plans, because we're always in business. We're always essential to what's going on financially, and we do have a regional office in New York that closed last Monday. And then in New York State, the governor said you can't have more than 50% of your employees in your workspace there. And in Binghamton, New York, where the home office is, literally the next day they sent 150 people home and connected them to the all to the internet, all the phones, everything, so that 150 people could work at home immediately, with only a skeleton crew still working in the home office. And as of today, there are 244 employees up in the Binghamton home office who work from home, and only less than 60 people who handle the incoming mail, and any paper that has to be done, and of course all the treasury functions, checks coming in, checks going out. So
Yeah.
it's uh, it's
Well,
it's pretty amazing that it was done so seamlessly.
yeah. I'm concerned about our business. I'm concerned about our clients. And I put out a letter the other day talking about, I believe that it's an important time to have important conversations. And we have we have an obligation. We're very important people in people's lives, and I feel we have an obligation to stay in front of them, and not from a product standpoint, but from just the human relationship standpoint. And I think we need to put some elements into play and stay in front of these clients. And because, I really believe that this is going to last a long time. And there's the immediate impact, what we have to do socially and staying away from people. But what I'm concerned about, not to make light of the people dying and sick, I'm concerned about the residual impact of this going forward, because all the models that are coming out saying this is going to peak at some point in time, and the window keeps going out further and further. But on the downside of that peak, it's still there, and I think the residual end of this thing is going to be very difficult for the average American, very difficult for many people in our business, and the residual impacts of these are going to be horrendous. And so I think we got to have the conversations with clients. You know, Marty, it's funny, we can identify the symptoms of what's going on. You got a fever, a cough, and you can't breathe, and these are the symptoms of it. We don't have a cure for this. We have
Not yet.
we have yeah, and they're working on it. And I trust. I have faith in our society, to come up with some action in the very short near future. But again, distribution of that solution is going to be difficult. But the symptoms are there. What I worry about is that the after effect for our clients, and looking at the symptoms and identifying the symptoms that are there financially. I mean, we're suffering for a 1 year rate of return now. We're looking at 20% negative numbers. And if you're 55 or 60, you're looking. This is devastating. And we need to put some different ideas. I think it's time, once again, and we've been saying this for a number of years now, to redefine our planning process, or redefine our approach to the client. And in a time of stress like this, I think inside people's minds, they're looking for certainty. They're looking for security, and not just financially, but in their everyday lives. Where can I go? What can I do? And they're looking for that security. So I believe certainty and security should be one of the main elements when we sit down with somebody, one of our clients, and saying, look, we have an opportunity to move forward on this, and for we've been through this before where the market's dumped. For the first time, let's take a portion of the portfolio and let's put it into certainty, so that you own a number inside your family. Generationally, you own that number, and it's guaranteed to be there for you, and you can use it as leverage while you're alive. Because the problem is, I think, we're sitting here, and all the politicians and all the doctors are saying, well, 15 days here, 30 days here, and all of a sudden this looks like a year. And the challenges we're facing mentally, our clients are facing mentally, is going to be devastating. I can see on my phone, and the responses I'm getting from different companies, everybody's moving into that webinar series and everything else. The problem with webinars is, A, it's going to be overloaded, and B, we don't keep the attention of the client, and because they can, they drift off. I think it's going to be important, like we're discussing today, to have conversations with the clients in 5-minute segments. And we have to deal in the human nature of this. We have to deal with the anxiety that a lot of people are feeling. And anxiety simply comes from the lack of control they feel in the outcome for their lives. They want to get back to normal. Well, normal is different now. And
Much different.
but the second one, Marty, is the thing that's bothering me, because for years we've been talking about generational planning, strength of the family, and all of a sudden this virus has come into our lives, and it's put new light onto this situation. What do you how do you feel about that?
You know, the amazing thing about our history is that it's so unpredictable. Who would have thought a few weeks ago that the entire way that we live, the entire way that we think, the entire way that we treat our neighbors has suddenly changed completely to the opposite there. I don't think Len, I don't think there's a truer statement to say than people so much want to hear from people like us in our profession. I mean, the crazy thing in my family is I've always been the professional mourner in my family. I come from a large family. Whenever there was a death in the family, I think my my aunts and uncles and cousins could always count on me to be there. And I think the way I look at life and the way I look at my family and friends, whatever, is that's exactly what our profession is right now. And that's what our clients and, family, friends, neighbors just need us to be there to talk about this, because who talks about these ideas other than the people in our profession, which I think is one of the most valuable, most powerful professions there are. We talk about what's the inevitable is going to happen. And unless we have discussions about that, we know that our clients want that certainty, security all the time. That's what they're
Yeah,
looking for. They just don't, we don't talk to them enough about it. Perhaps this
yeah,
will be a key element that'll help people. Most of the time, as you would say, it's the unseen. It's the unconscious. How do we make people see the unseen? How do we make people aware of the opportunity that's lying right in front of them that they just don't see? I mean, that is our job. I
yeah.
mean, there's no way around that.
The
And we
the
actually have the tools that will help them satisfy those
well,
goals, those
I think
desires for security, certainty.
yeah, I think I'm proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud of the people in our business that work on our side of the business, because much of the industry, I feel, from from uh, from the standpoint of discussions with people, is about math.
Yeah,
And I have been saying for years that many times these illustrations and charts and graphs, they're it's a flawed formula, it's a flawed process. And and right about now, anybody that has an illustration, or as I call them, illusions, you can throw that thing out. I mean, the the
right.
difference
After the
between,
first year, it is all
yeah,
hypothetical,
so
or as
we sit
Nelson
there
Nash
and
might
say
say, it's a lie.
we have to change the conversation from one of numbers and math to the relationship end. And you're
Yeah,
right. We have an important function to deliver to the public. We're the bridge between their current lives and the anxiety that they may face, that God, we're not prepared for this. And I always tell people, you know what, Marty, problems compound much faster than the solutions do. And
yeah,
we just have to get a grip on this. And I think it's time to really put a lot of what we do, uh, and, and and address our clients and saying, listen, we just, even if it's a small portion, we need a portion of your portfolio to be in certainty and with some guarantees. And I think that's going to be the message for a long time here. And I think we're all going to have these anxieties for a long time. We're afraid. I have to go out and buy some food today, and I'm a little anxious about going to the store. And you know what? I was one of these guys, yeah, just bury me in the backyard type guy, and I'm just sitting there going, now I'm be afraid to touch a loaf of bread. So it's
I
life has
know.
changed, and it's getting complicated. What I'd like to do, like next week, let's talk about what some of the people in our industry can do to address this, and stay in business, stay in
Yeah,
front of that client, and let's talk about the important things in their lives because communication is going to be everything.
I think that'd be a
Communication,
great conversation.
you
Yeah.
know, and I'd like to, if you got time, I know you're really busy. Maybe next week we can push out some ideas because we both have ideas about this, and I just don't want to beat everybody to death on it. But I think we play a very important role for the people in our business. I am proud of you, and the one thing I want to help you achieve in life is to finish the plan for your clients because the anxiety comes from an incomplete plan. And we need just to be a little smarter and a little sharper when it comes to that. So Marty, I'm going to let you go, and I hope to talk to you next week.
Well, thank you, Len. I appreciate that. I look forward to it. Luckily, both you and I have connections to talk to people around the entire country and hear exactly what they are doing right now
Yeah, and I would like
to help their clients.
Invite anybody that's just talking to us to if they want to discuss some of these situations with me. My personal cell, I'm working out of my home. My personal cell is 313-600-8651. 313-600-8651. Marty, I want you to stay safe.
Thank you, Len. You too.
Give my best to your wife. I'm sure she's seen enough of you for a while, but that's what my wife tells me. Yeah.
I understand. It's a new reality here too. I don't think I've eaten at home this often since. Well, I don't know. I don't think I ever remember eating this many meals in a row at home in New York City.
I know it's like I'm on my fourth day of spaghetti.
Well, that's not bad. I can't knock that. So,
yeah. Okay. So, all right, Marty, you take care and stay safe.
Thanks. You too.
Thank
Same
you.
to you.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.